Michelle from the Scattered Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. Today is day 1 of Scrap-O-Ween, and we're starting it off with a bang this time with Trick or Treat Tuesday. So starting it out with mixed media. Is it going to be a trick or a treat? And I'm hoping it's going to be a treat. I'm very excited about this one. I'm going to be scrapbooking these pictures here I have of some ghosts in front of a house near our neighborhood, and these little ghosts are so cool because their expressions change, and sitting there watching them, I really couldn't hear what was being said because it had like an audio broadcasting, but I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. But just from the expressions on these ghosts' faces, it was hysterical. I was laughing at their antics. It was so cute. I'm like, oh, that is such a neat thing. I'm also going to be using this stencil from Photo Play, which I think kind of mimics all the expressions that you could see on their faces. And I'm going to be using my grit paste in Glow, and I love this stuff. It glows so bright. I've got my cardstock, I've got some stamps and dies, I have a fence punch here and some watercolors. So let's get started. To make my background, I am using this piece of basil cardstock in a purple color and this white basil cardstock in marshmallow. That's the name of the white. And I'm going to trim it down just a little bit and mount it or back it with the purple cardstock here in just a second. And of course I cut it wonky, so I have to fix that. And now that I have that situated, I'm going to put the purple cardstock to the side so I can do my trick or treat mixed media technique. And I'm going to start off by, well, I thought I was going to just put some water on my paper and just go with it. But then I thought, I better figure out where I'm going to actually put my photos first so that I'm not putting the color wash behind the pictures where you're not really going to see it. So this is just going to be kind of like a little halo around my photos. I don't really want it to be too saturated. So I start out with putting water where I want to put color. And then I am going to use this purple. And when I very first put it down, I was like, oh no, it's too dark. I got to figure some way of brightening this up or lightening it up. So I'm just going to work with it here and just take the water and really thin it out as much as I can. And how it looks on the bottom right corner is kind of how I wanted the whole thing to look. So I kind of spread it out as much as I could, and then I'm going to run my paper towel roll over, and that helps bring some of the color up too. So it's not quite as saturated. And then once it's dry, it lightens up some as well. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not even waiting for my watercolor to dry. I'm just going to go ahead and use my stencil here, and I'm going to stencil these faces all along the right hand side of my layout. And I am using my Tim Holtz Distress Grit Paste in Glow. If you have not gotten any of this or have used it or seen it in action, it's just so fun. And it truly, when it is all charged up and you take it into a dark room, it glows so bright. I just love it. It is so fun to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that all down. And I didn't think about it at first because I tend to not think ahead about how things are going to go. So I wasn't thinking, oh, I need to repeat this. How am I going to kind of repeat it? So I end up having some little partial faces there where I'm trying to put the stencil down, and I'm looking at my layout now, and you don't notice it. It's fine. Oops, you don't notice it. not not unless you know it's there and you're looking really hard. So just don't look at it too hard. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up and get those on there. And I really like watching the stencil come up. And ooh, there's all the faces. It's so fun. Now I've set that aside to dry for just a little bit. Sometimes I don't bother doing that, but in this case I have some other things I need to do first, and that is to cut my fence. And of course, I cut it wrong. So thankfully this piece of cardstock was wide enough that I could just flip it over and go again. You have to make sure that your little pieces are all lined up with the silhouette on the side, so that when you push it down, you're not overlapping. And that's what I did the first time. I did not have those pieces of the fence really lined up well with that silhouette. So there, I've got that. And isn't that adorable? I was so excited to find this punch at a store that's somewhat local to me. It's in another town next to us. And she had been to a bunch of estate sales and bought a lot of things, and she's selling them in her shop for quite discounted prices. And I was just digging through one of the kind of bins that she has those things in and found that punch, and I was so excited. I was like, oh, I had seen it before being used, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. But you know, it's an older Martha Stewart, I think. And so you have to find it on like eBay or something. But I was really excited to find it there at the shop. And so back to the layout, I have used a couple of dies to cut out some speech bubbles. And then I have this speech bubble stamp here that I am going to use. And I'm using some basil cardstock here in Fig. I love the color Fig. It's supposed to be a purple, but to me it just kind of looks like a dingy light gray. And I love using it on my Halloween related papers because it's not like that stark white. And I am just gonna fussy cut these out, and unfortunately I got some of the ink on my thumb and ended up getting it on my speech bubble. Oh well, that's okay. We're gonna go with it anyway. And now I am going to back my white cardstock here with the purple. And I really like how this is turning out. The little faces aren't quite dry yet, but we're gonna go with it. Gonna keep going, and I'm going to pop my pictures up on some foam. So I think, let's see, I got this pack at Michael's, I think, and it's got a lot of foam in it. It's not as thin as I would like it to be, but it's really hard to find thin foam. I think the last time I had found some that was thin like I like it was at Dollar Tree, but I haven't seen any there in a long time. So I'm going to glue that down. And I am using the glue because the AGT tape. ATG, there it is. It doesn't like to stick to the foam. So I'm using my wet glue there. And also I was putting it a little bit over those faces. And when you're using mixed media like this, you want to use glue, like wet glue, to attach things or adhere things. Now here I am looking on where I want to put my title. And the title is Oh Brother. And I hope, you know, in my head when I read it, I'm like thinking of the world's biggest eye roll when you go, oh brother. Because if you could see it, that ghost on the far left has the expression on its face that looks like he's saying, oh brother. And that expression is kind of where I got the whole idea for kind of the theme of this layout. I really have no idea what the ghosts were talking about because, like I said earlier, I couldn't really hear and understand what the recording was. But in my mind, this ghost in the middle, he would have the most ridiculous looking expressions, and I could just think of him saying all these ridiculous dad jokes, these silly dad jokes, and the ghost on the far right, I mean, he would get angry looking. And the one on the far left, he would just have these looks on his face like he was utterly disgusted, that he was just done, and it was so funny. I mean, just look at that middle ghost on the picture on the left side, and he looks so eager, and he looks so, excited about his little joke. I have no idea if he was saying a joke, but that's what was going on in my mind. And so in my speech bubbles, I put some dad jokes. So one of them says, "What do ghosts like to eat?" And I have that on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side on the top, I put the answer of the joke. And it's, of course, spaghetti. Ghosts like to eat spaghetti. Are you ready to roll your eyes? And then the next one is, "What do ghosts wear to see better?" And of course, on the other side, it says, "Spookticles." Oh, they are grown worthy. Another one says, "How do ghosts search the web?" And the answer is, they use Google. Oh, yes. Yes, now you're going, "Oh, brother," right along with those other two ghosts. Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay, calm down. And I'm going to put this little tag here in which I'm going to write a little bit of journaling, but I still haven't done that yet. So I still need to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and get that down. And I put some ribbon there that's black and white, or not black and white, good heavens, black and purple. So my layout here is kind of a bit monochrome. It does have this little pop of, I guess, kind of like a light teal color, because in the photos, that's kind of what color the ghosts are. And I wish I knew how they did these ghosts. I know it's a projection of some sort. I don't know if it was projecting from the ground or it's projecting from inside the ghosts or something. I don't know, but it's really cool. I really like their whole display. So I've got this little word tab up there that says "Warts up," and another speech bubble that says "Eek." And now I'm getting these all glued down. And again, I'm going to use the wet glue because I'm putting them on top of that grip paste. And the ATG tape really won't stick to it. And then here I have a little die cut that says "Knock Knock." And I'm putting that on top of my speech bubble that says "Boo." So now it says "Knock Knock, Boo." We gotta have all the jokes on here. So I'm going to put my acrylic block on top of those to kind of hold them down until the glue gets nice and tacky. And then I'm going to use these little tiny rhinestones to put as a finishing touch around this little cluster down at the bottom, which the little heart says "Trick or Treat." And then I'm going to put some more of those around. I'm going to put some here on my tag, and then I know some are going to go on the boo here, and I'm going to put some up there near the eek speech bubble. And then I'm going to also use some of my little puffy ghost stickers. Those will come up here in a second. Oh, I did put some over there. I have the layout right in front of me and I didn't even notice. But here's the little puffy ghosts. I'm going to put one down there because they look so cute, and they have to be on this really fun layout. So I've got one on my tag there, and I'm going to put one somewhere else, didn't I? Or is that the only two? That's the only two. Oh no, I put one up there on the ink speech bubble too. And then, of course, the last thing I'm going to do is put some splatters on with my Distress Mica stains. And I think the name of this one is Spectre or something like that. And that is going to do it. I hope you are enjoying the first day of October. And I hope that you are inspired to get out some mixed media and give it a try. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.